Thanks to its mild climate and vast, wooded landscapes, Normandy has become a perfect refuge for countless wildlife species, wild boars included. Over the past few years, their numbers have exploded, climbing into the thousands. Today, we're inviting you to join us on an exciting hunt inside a government-approved hunting reserve. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss our next adventure. We entered the forest at dawn, the moment when wild boars are most active and the cool air hangs low over the trees. For nearly half an hour, the hunt was calm, almost deceptively quiet, until the sudden barking of the dogs shattered the silence. That sound was unmistakable. The prey had finally revealed itself. In seconds, we caught sight of their movement through the brush. Rifles lifted, we shifted our aim. One slipped away, but soon the rest of the herd burst into view. It was the chance we had been waiting for. Without hesitation, I pulled the trigger again and again, each shot echoing sharply through the woods. Within seconds, the first wild boar went down under the force of the volley. Not long after, we spotted another group pushing frantically through the underbrush, clearly desperate to escape. I steadied my rifle scope, drew a deep breath, and tried to quiet the pounding in my chest. Then the forest erupted with a thunderous shot. A boar, quick and agile, couldn't outrun the strike. Before the sound had even faded, another charged out from the trees. I raised my weapon without hesitation. One more target, one more shot. The crack of the rifle split the air, sending the herd scattering in a wild, panicked rush that broke out of the forest like a crashing wave. What the herd didn't know was that we had already set up an ambush in that very direction. The forest exploded with gunfire, and deep in the trees another boar dropped. As I stayed motionless in my position, something unexpected unfolded before my eyes. First, a single boar emerged, then another. Soon there were three, and finally a fourth. My pulse raced, but I forced myself to stay steady. One shot after another rang out, each one hitting its mark. In just a few seconds, all four were down. It hardly seemed real. That moment is etched in my memory forever. As we paused to catch our breath, a shadowy figure suddenly burst through the thicket, charging straight toward us. Instinct took over. I raised my rifle, squeezed the trigger again and again, and the boar went down hard. It was another hard-earned trophy added to the hunt. Moments later, a fresh herd pushed its way out from the heavy canopy. Before they had the chance to scatter, I fired and dropped one cleanly. Every sound seemed to echo unnaturally loud in the stillness of the ancient forest, especially when the wild boars moved together in packs. That I kept my rifle steady, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. A burst of gunfire followed, but this time, not a single shot. What do you think about that experience? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. Over the past few weeks, residents in a rural district of Turkey have been sounding the alarm about wild boars tearing through their fields and even attacking livestock under the cover of night. Locals tried different methods to keep the animals away, but nothing seemed to work. That's when our team stepped in to join forces with the community in search for a real solution. On our very first ambush, the boars appeared sooner than expected. One well-placed shot sent the first animal crashing into the underbrush, where it finally collapsed deep in the forest. We celebrated the success, but deep down we knew this was only the beginning of a much larger challenge. The herd moved unpredictably across the rugged terrain, making every step a challenge. The first shot had to be taken from long range, a tough task under the circumstances. But with steady focus and precise aim, we managed to bring down several animals in quick succession. Then, out of nowhere, another dark shape burst from the brush. I fired, but my first shot missed its mark. Luckily, my hunting partner was positioned lower on the slope and dropped the boar with cleanly. Moments later, our dogs flushed out another one, but this time the animal vanished into the thick undergrowth. Losing that chase stung, a reminder that in hunting, victory and defeat often walk hand in hand. As we reached the mountainside, a herd came thundering downhill straight toward us. We quickly blocked off their escape routes and opened fire. Two dropped almost instantly, but we knew more were hiding close by, waiting for the right moment to break cover. Out of the brush suddenly charged a massive boar, driven forward by our dogs. He wasn't just powerful, he moved with surprising speed and agility. After a fierce struggle, the beast finally went down. But just as we caught our breath, something completely unexpected unfolded before our eyes. From the thickets on our left came a deep, menacing grunt. In an instant, another boar charged straight at us, not in panic, but with deadly intent. Chaos erupted. One of our men was hit hard, suffering a serious leg injury before we could drive the animal back. That brutal encounter was a harsh reminder of just how dangerous wild boars can be. They're cunning, fiercely territorial, and completely unpredictable, especially the old males. Experts warn, never run. Fleeing only triggers their hunting instinct. The smarter move is to stand tall, make noise, and if all else fails, get up a tree before they close the distance. Fortunately, our team reacted fast. A warning shot distracted the beast just long enough for a clean hit to bring it down, barely a few yards from our injured partner. The wound was deep, but he stayed conscious. Luck, more than anything, was on his side that day. From that point forward, the atmosphere shifted. What had started as a well-planned hunt now turned into a tense, cautious pursuit. We weren't just tracking game anymore. We were scanning for signs of danger at every step. Fresh tracks in the mud, branches snapped in the brush, and the low, guttural grunts that meant another boar might be close. That day taught us a hard lesson every seasoned hunter already knows. Wild boars are among the most dangerous creatures in Europe. Their strength, intelligence, and sheer unpredictability turn every encounter into a gamble. And yet, with the danger came a deeper sense of respect. These animals embody the raw, untamed spirit of the wilderness. As dusk settled and we finally made our way out of the forest, our injured partner chuckled and said, "Next time I'm hunting from a tree stand." We laughed with him, but each of us understood the truth. Out here in the wild, even the hunter must always be ready to become the hunter. Welcome to Northwoods Pursuit, where nature meets grit and every pursuit tells a story. Wild boars aren't just animals anymore. They're a full-blown invasion. With populations exploding and their path of destruction now tripling past records, they've gone from woodland creatures to one of the most dangerous and disruptive forces in the wild. But they're not just multiplying, they're adapting. Smarter, faster, bolder. So we're stepping into their territory, armed with strategy, skill, and a whole lot of patience. Join us on the front lines, where precision matters, and every moment in the field counts. If you're into raw, real outdoor action, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and follow Northwoods Pursuit for more. Deep in the unforgiving wilds of the Kazilkum Forest, where tangled trails weave through thick brush, seasoned hunter Mehmed was on the move. After hours of silent tracking, he had mapped the patterns of the local wild boars, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Then, a soft rustle broke the stillness. Instantly alert, Mehmed locked in. After more than an hour of stillness, a hulking boar finally emerged from shadows. With calm precision, he steadied his scope, held his breath, and fired. One clean shot, and the beast dropped. But where there's one boar, more are never far behind. Knowing the herd was close, Mehmed moved quickly, circling the area with sharp eyes. Within minutes, he spotted the rest, and the hunt was on again. By sunset, the forest floor bore the marks of his success. Several more trophies added to a hard-fought day. Out in the rugged wilderness of the Kazilkum, Adam's hunting trip quickly turned from routine to unforgettable. As he scanned the landscape, movement caught his eye, a full herd of wild boars drifting right into his line of sight. Opportunities like that don't come around often, and Adam knew it. With calm focus and the confidence that comes from years in the field, he took position. One by one, the boars fell, each shot a testament to his precision, skill, and unshakable instinct. Even the most elusive of them didn't stand a chance. This takedown is guaranteed to make your heart race. Dry grasslands in the summer are full of hidden dangers. Here, wild boars frequently attack livestock, leaving local farmers struggling to protect their herds. Farouk had set up a lookout post near one of the spots most often raided by these animals. Within just a few minutes, a full-grown boar suddenly emerged from behind a patch of grass. At such close range, there were only seconds to react. Farouk didn't hesitate. He raised his rifle, took aim, and brought it down with a single, precise shot. A clean execution showcasing sharp focus and outstanding skill. The hunts you're about to witness are more than just adrenaline-fueled moments. They're a masterclass in strategy, patience, and razor-sharp skill. Every pull of the trigger came after hours of scouting, studying the terrain, and waiting for that one flawless opportunity. No second chances. Just one shot, executed with surgical precision. Wild boars aren't just destructive, they're dangerously smart. With raw power and the uncanny ability to disappear into thick brush, they turn the woods into a high-stakes battlefield. Each hunt becomes a deadly game of wits. And the question is always the same. Can a hunter outthink the hunted? And that's the wild truth of boar hunting. It's not just about the thrill. It's about responsibility. Every shot taken helps protect farmland, native wildlife, and ecosystems thrown off balance by this relentless invasion. But it takes more than firepower. It takes respect for nature, discipline, and the courage to face what lurks in the shadows. So if you're ready for more real-world hunting action, lessons from the field, and raw encounters that test your limits, stick with Northwoods Pursuit. The wild doesn't rest, and neither do we. See you in the next hunt. This video is for educational and awareness purposes. All scenes follow local laws and ethical hunting guidelines. Welcome to Northwoods Pursuit. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more hunting action. Today marked the kickoff of this year's first wild boar control operation. Teaming up with local residents and wildlife officials, we headed straight into the most heavily infested zones, areas where these aggressive animals have wreaked havoc for months. Wild boars aren't just a threat to crops. They attack livestock and can be dangerously unpredictable when humans cross their path. We hit the rendezvous point early and jumped straight into action. Scopes up, eyes sharp, we started scanning the terrain. It didn't take long. A massive herd was moving through the brush. Once everything was in place, we opened fire. Hitting precise shots at long range wasn't easy, especially with how quickly they moved, but years of tracking and hunting experience paid off. We managed to bring down a few, enough to make a dent, but the fight is far from over. After fine-tuning our scopes, we kept the pressure on. More boars dropped as they scattered, trying to disappear beneath the thick canopy. Then, out of nowhere, another one stepped into view. I lined up the crosshairs, took the shot, and watched it tumble down the hillside. A few others nearby didn't get away in time. We took them down fast. But plenty still managed to vanish into the woods, slipping through the chaos. We repositioned to a new ambush spot, hoping to catch them off guard again. That's when it happened. An absolute monster of a wild boar burst into view. We weren't ready. It suddenly pivoted and charged, rage in its eyes, heading straight for us. There was no time to hesitate. We opened fire in a frantic burst, and I landed the final shot just before it reached us. It was close, too close, but that's the kind of danger that comes with this territory. After the earlier firefight, we shifted to a new ambush position, hoping to get the jump on any stragglers. Just as we were settling in, the unexpected happened. A massive wild boar came barreling out of the brush. We'd let our guard down for a second too long. Without warning, it changed course and charged straight at us, eyes wild with fury. There was no time to think, just act. Gunfire exploded as we scrambled to stop it. I managed to take the beast down just in time, seconds before it could cause real damage. Not long after, another one broke through the undergrowth with a sudden burst of speed. I didn't hesitate, lined up the shot, and dropped it with a clean hit to the head. Still, in the middle of all the chaos, a few of them managed to slip away into the trees. That's the nature of this fight. Every second counts, and not every shot lands. From our vantage point high above the valley, we caught sight of another large herd moving fast through the terrain. Even at a distance, we could clearly count over a dozen wild boars charging through the underbrush. We managed to take out several in the initial crossfire, but more kept pouring in. Charging them head-on was getting us nowhere. They were too quick, too scattered. So we changed tactics. We split into smaller teams and circled around, setting up ambush points from multiple angles. That shift made all the difference. The moment they came into range, there was nowhere for them to run. Every shot counted, and this time we had them dialed in. By the time afternoon rolled around, we had made our way down into the fields at the base of the hill, and that's when the true scale of the wild boar problem hit us. These animals weren't just big, they were massive and faster than we expected. Getting within range on foot was nearly impossible, so we had to rely on vehicles just to close the gap. As soon as they came into our sights, we didn't hesitate. The shots rang out. The terrain down there was wide open, which helped us move quickly, but it also gave the herd room to scatter in every direction. Tracking them became a chaotic mess. We took out as many as we could, but it wasn't easy. Despite their high numbers in this region, hunting wild boars is no walk in the park. They've grown more cautious with each encounter. Gunfire makes them smarter, faster, and far more elusive. By the end of the day, we were running on fumes, physically beat and mentally spent. We pulled back, took a breath, and started planning our next move. The hunt isn't over. Tomorrow we go again. Days like this remind us that hunting isn't just about the adrenaline. It's about responsibility, strategy, and respecting the land we share with these wild animals. Controlling the wild boar population helps protect our farms and our communities and the delicate balance of the ecosystem. But make no mistake, this isn't easy work. Every hunt teaches us something new, and the mission is far from over. If you found this journey intense, just wait until you see what's coming next. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and follow along as we head back into the wild. The story continues in the next episode. You don't want to miss it. This video is for educational and awareness purposes. All scenes follow local laws and ethical hunting guidelines. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're diving into a wild and gritty showdown, humans versus one of the most destructive invasive species on the planet. These animals aren't just a nuisance. They wreak havoc on entire ecosystems and devastate agricultural lands. This is the gripping story of a farmer's uphill battle to protect his livelihood from an unlikely enemy, the wild boar. It might look harmless at first glance, but don't be fooled, this creature is a walking wrecking ball. Just this past fall, deep in rural Texas, cornfield became ground zero for an all-out invasion. Dozens of feral hogs stormed the land, and what they left behind wasn't just damage, it was devastation. These beasts don't graze, they plunder. With noses that can sniff out food from miles away, they moved in with their young, tearing through crops meant for harvest, and leaving the soil looking like it had been through a war zone. In this story, we'll uncover how one simple misstep during planting season can open the door to disaster. When farmers don't take precautions, they risk losing everything before a single sprout breaks the soil. Wild boars are quick to seize the opportunity. They'll root up freshly planted seeds before they even have a chance to grow. Their heavy tracks are often the first sign of trouble, stamped clearly across the soft earth. And when they hit a cornfield, they don't nibble around the edges. They charge straight to the heart of it, tearing through rows like a wrecking crew. Corn isn't just food for wild boars. It's a full-course buffet packed with energy and nutrients. That's why they're drawn to it like magnets. These fields become their perfect hideout and feeding ground, offering both cover and calories. But what starts as a feast for the hogs quickly turns into a nightmare for farmers, as entire acres are leveled in a matter of hours. Across the U.S., wild boars are more than just a rural nuisance. They're a full-blown crisis, racking up an estimated $2.5 billion in damage every year. In Texas alone, during the peak of corn harvest season, the problem gets so out of hand that state agencies are forced to ramp up control efforts. But despite traps, fences, and coordinated hunts, the boar population keeps growing, and so does the destruction. For countless farmers, it's like fighting a losing battle, one field at a time. Sure, hunting wild hogs has become a favorite pastime for many sport shooters, but there's more to it than pulling a trigger. Legal restrictions and safety rules are critical, especially when hunting on private land or near crops. Hunters often lie in wait, moving quietly and taking careful aim when the animals let their guard down. Still, as thrilling as the hunt may be, it's only a temporary fix for a long-term problem. When wild boars tear through cornfields, they don't stop at the farm's edge. They often push into nearby neighborhoods, bringing chaos with them. Picture this: you're out for a casual bike ride past a quiet field, and out of nowhere, a wild hog bolts across your path, tearing through fences, brush, and anything in its way. These animals aren't just a threat to crops, they're a danger to people, pets, and property. While farmers have tried to hold the line with fences, traps, and deterrents, the results are hit or miss. Boars are smart, strong, and relentless, especially during harvest season. In some of the worst cases, entire teams of hogs have been known to decimate up to 50 acres of corn in a single night. That's not just frustrating, it's financially devastating. In a desperate effort to take back their land, some farmers have turned to night hunts right on their own property. But this isn't a job for amateurs. Tracking wild boars in the dark takes years of experience, a steady hand, and razor-sharp instincts. These animals move fast, travel in aggressive packs of 10 to 20, and don't give second chances. One misstep and they're gone. But the damage goes far beyond the fields. Wild boars aren't just crop killers, they're a full-blown ecological threat. They pollute water sources, endanger livestock, disrupt native wildlife, and even put people at risk. These invasive beasts will eat just about anything, from plants to small animals, even the remains of the dead. They're not just pests, they're a growing danger that's forcing rural communities to stay constantly on guard. Wild boars aren't just a rural problem anymore. They've been spotted digging through city dumpsters, spreading disease, and even bringing traffic to a halt as they charge through urban streets. This isn't just a nuisance, it's a growing crisis. The fight to protect our farmland, wildlife, and communities is intensifying, and the need for real, lasting solutions has never been more critical. But this battle goes far beyond cornfields. It's about safeguarding our environment, securing our food supply, and defending a way of life that's been built on the land for generations. So let's stand behind the farmers and ranchers on the front lines, because what they're fighting for affects us all. But wild boars are just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. Invasive species are wreaking havoc across the globe. Take Australia, for example, where an estimated 287 million feral rabbits have drastically transformed both the natural environment and farming landscapes. What started as a small population quickly spiraled into an ecological nightmare. And rabbits aren't the only issue. Australia has also been locked in a long-term struggle with other invasive animals like wild goats, feral camels, and European red fox. Many of these species were brought over by European settlers centuries ago, intended for food, milk, or sport hunting. But once they escaped into the wild, they multiplied rapidly, outpacing native species and upsetting fragile ecosystems. To keep these invasive species in check, the Australian government has approved large-scale hunting of certain animals. In fact, some farmers have found a way to turn the problem into profit, capturing and selling invasive species to help offset the financial damage they've caused. So while the thrill of the hunt might draw headlines, the real takeaway here is this: managing invasive species like wild boars and feral goats isn't just about pulling the trigger. It's about protecting ecosystems, supporting farmers, and preserving a way of life that's under siege. Responsible hunting, guided by science and regulation, can play a role, but it's only one piece of the puzzle. As our natural world faces mounting pressure, awareness and action matter more than ever. Thanks for tuning in. And if you care about wildlife, agriculture, and the future of our environment, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out our next video. The fight is far from over. This video is for educational and awareness purposes. All scenes follow local laws and ethical hunting guidelines.